St. John's Lutheran Church Council, with recommendations from St. John's COVID Task Force, is pleased to announce that we will be moving to stage 3 of our COVID response plan, which includes an in-person worship service option. We are all excited to see each other and share our love of God together. It is an exciting time after a very long period of not doing things in person. While we are moving forward to being together as a large group inside an enclosed space, it is critical to remember that we are still experiencing a pandemic. We must continue to protect our neighbors who cannot be vaccinated, choose not to be vaccinated, or are not yet eligible to be vaccinated. We ask that you partner with us in keeping our indoor worship space so that we can continue to worship in person. We are reminded in Philippians 2, verse 4, "Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others." With this in mind, you might be wondering what worship will look like in person. Here's a quick overview. We will begin on March 28th with 2 scheduled in-person Sunday worship services at 8:30 and 11:30. Virtual service or live stream will continue to be available at 8:30 a.m. on Sunday and 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Our 9:15 Sunday Zoom service will also continue. You can expect our in-person worship services to be about half an hour. As we begin to offer in-person worship services, we will be asking congregation members to sign up online ahead of time for the worship service you plan to attend. If you are not an internet user or need help with this process, you can contact the church office. Pre-registration may not always be needed to be in place, but with the excitement of the in-person option, our church leadership wants to do everything possible to make this successful and sustainable. Your partnership in each step of the plan will ensure that we can continue to gather and worship safely in the days and months ahead. Before you arrive at church for your registered worship time, please self-screen for COVID symptoms. If you or any household member have any COVID symptoms, please stay home and join us virtually. Bring and wear a mask. Please wear it correctly over your mouth and nose. When you arrive at church, you will line up just outside the main entry to enter church. You may wait in your car until the line is short if you prefer. Once inside the narthex, you will be asked to apply hand sanitizer. You will also cross your household name off of a roster of church members so that we can do contact tracing if we experience an outbreak, or some other process. As the process moves forward, we may change how we do this. From the sign-in area, you'll be directed to the fellowship hall and seated by ushers. Initially, we will be ushering you to your seats to maximize our use of space as we figure out how many people we can fit in our hall safely. You may be asked by an usher to relocate to a different seat to optimize space and accommodate more people if we get groups of certain sizes coming in. We will, in general, fill in from one side of the hall to the other to try to minimize crossing paths. During worship, you can expect a live pastoral message and readings. For the safety of all, there will be no congregational singing or communal responses. After worship, you will be ushered out of the worship space by the ushers as well. Please use hand sanitizer on your way out of the building, and please do not congregate inside the building. After all congregational members have exited the building, the worship space will be sanitized in preparation for the next use. The COVID task force has been working on plans for in-person worship for many months. As with worship before COVID, we will need many volunteers to help with in-person worship. Although some of the positions or needs have changed, we are using about the same number of people to volunteer for each in-person worship service as we have in the past. We need several volunteers to be available and trained as these new roles in order to move forward with our in-person worship plan. St. John's is a community full of members who have supported and helped with many aspects of church ministry for decades. Now is a great opportunity to learn a new role and support your church community in a new way. Look for information coming from our church via email, in the mail, on our website for a list of volunteer opportunities for our in-person worship, as well as a sign-up for training times and worship dates. We look forward to working together to support the in-person ministry of St. John's beginning on March 28th. The COVID pandemic has come with hardships and highlights, loss and gains, distance and new opportunities for connection. We realize that our congregation members have a spectrum of feelings, emotions, and perspectives about COVID-19. Our church leaders continue to hold all of the varied experiences and emotions of our congregational members in our hearts as we take this next step toward reunion together. Whether you choose to worship in person or remain as a virtual worshiper, we see you, we hear you, and we care for you. May God continue to bless our congregation as we worship together, grow in faith, and serve others as living witnesses of Jesus Christ. God be with you.